So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time period you happen to be viewing me in. My name is Yitz Jordan, also known as Y Love. I'm the CEO of TribeHerald Media. I want you to imagine something. Imagine a color wheel with only 3 colors, or an ice cream store with only 4 flavors, or a pizza shop with only 2 toppings, or a sandwich shop with only 2 toppings. That's pretty much the way that mainstream media and traditional media is seeing the world today. And Tribe Herald Media wants to disrupt that and upend the way that the media world looks at the world at large. Let me share my screen. So enter Tribe Herald. We are a multicultural digital media community built on diversity and inclusion from the ground up. We, for instance, look at this picture of 5 people. Traditional media will say that there's 5 people, maybe 5 young people, and maybe identify them by ethnic group. We see people who could be Muslim, they could be Jewish, they could be LGBT, they could be immigrants, they could be belonging to any number of communities that they're not necessarily going to be counted as part of. We're in the midst of a demographic shift in general. Minority communities are becoming more diverse. All of our communities are becoming more diverse. And it's to the point that 90 million Americans, that's 1 in 4 Americans, are going to be participating in a multicultural economy, whether it be through the media they consume or where they shop or where they conduct business. They're going to be part of a multicultural economy that we need to be prepared for. As it is, traditional media is old-fashioned. It ostracizes diverse communities. Many communities aren't even represented. We've heard stories about things like newsroom diversity, advertiser slip-ups, things like that. Media doesn't even appreciate multifaceted identities in general. A straight Black male will be put on a TV show or in advertising as a representative for the Black community without taking into account Black women, LGBT people, and things like that. And this just comes back to the fact that individuals have unique needs and concerns that media fails to address, each person being their own unique Venn diagram of all the communities that come together, that they represent and that they come together to form them. And this is happening against the backdrop of a growth of internet publishing at 10% per year. And it's to the point that people are paying $10 per month per user, 65% of people in 2019, to not be represented accurately in media. It's to this, and all of this is happening in a media landscape that's being driven by millennials and Gen Z, digital first, entrepreneurial minded, wanting to create communities and wanting to share content with their networks. It's into this landscape that Tribe Herald steps in. We want to be existing at the digital consolidation of multiculture, representing the nexuses of communities that are represented by our consumers, our clients, and our readers. We want to provide community building in a unique online and offline mix and provide culturally competent media solutions for not just our advertisers, but also for our readers and our consumers. I'm a rapper by trade for the past 20 years. My stage name is Y Love, and I was pioneering Jewish hip hop. We're starting off, therefore, in the Jewish community by targeting Jews of color who are an underserved population within the Jewish community in America and in Spanish-speaking countries. 700,000 of us live in New York. Hundreds of thousands live around the country. That puts us in competition with brands like Haaretz and Arutz Sheva, which are Israeli brands. The Tablet, which was under fire for interviewing a white nationalist, and The Forward, which has been publishing for 100 years and still publishes in Yiddish and is not known for appreciating diversity. So what does this equal money-wise? We project $540,000 coming out of user subscriptions before 2022. That's 60,000 users at $9 per month. On top of this, we see ticket sales, webinar sales, things like that, sponsorship, content syndication, and many other avenues, adding up to $3.8 million in revenue by 2022 for a total number of $4.3 million in 2022. And this is only from our efforts within the Jewish community. Tribe Herald was started by myself and our editor, Rabbi Shais Rishon, who's also known by his stage name, Manish Tanah. He's a 3-time published author, a former editor at Tablet Magazine, and an activist for the past 20 years. Our chief advisor is Jay Loft, the former publisher of Quartz, and our team is rounded out by our wonderful CFO and host today, our chief counsel, and Robin Washington, who was an activist and a prominent voice in the Black Jewish community for the past 20 years. So what have we done so far? January, we started the company. In March, we launched our Facebook page to a in March, we launched our newsletter to a modest 300 subscribers. In April, we launched our Facebook page to a modest 500 followers. We would take that newsletter up to 1,000 subscribers when we launched our website, and we would launch to 4,000 users. Then we would launch our store in July. And after that, coming up to today, the newsletter is at 1,000 subscribers. The store has generated over $10,000 in revenue. We have 19,000 website users. Advertising contracts are in place, and 45 contributors contributing to TribeHerald.com from around the world. We're looking to scale that up to 100 contributors by the end of the year, raising that up to 100,000 website users. And of course, the opening up our QSR and community space, ideally in 2021, Corona willing, and including pop-up events and sponsored experiences. Right now, we're raising $1.1 million in a Reg D deal through a convertible note. The majority of this money is going to be going to staffing and content creators, as well as building out our community center and our location. In addition to a Reg CF crowdfunding deal, the majority of which is going to go to customer acquisition, as well as staffing and app development for the app that we hope to be launching within the next few months.
Yitz, your time is up. I'll
Good
have
thing.
to.
That's
Perfect timing.
Ask me. Feel free to ask in the Q&A.
Perfect. And by the way, now is the Q&A section. If you people, while the speaker is presenting, have some sort of questions for him or her, just put it in the comments or the Q&A section, and the presenters will decide which questions to answer. And since I don't see any Q&As here, no questions from you, I'm going to use my power of being the ceremony master and ask my own question. So Yitz, I actually was wondering how exactly are you planning to scale further on? So are you planning just to apply your old strategies on a larger scale, or are you planning to do something new?
Well, when we say old strategies, that being creating a newsletter, creating social media presences, and creating web properties, and then creating community building exercises, that's going to happen throughout a variety of communities. Like I said, we're starting off with the Jewish community, and then we're going to progress to other underserved communities using a relatively similar model.
Got it. Perfect. And we have one question from Aaron Clayton. Yitz, are you an Israeli-based company or US-based? And second question is, who is your target audience from launch?
So initially at launch, we're launching to the Jewish community in the world, predominantly concentrating on Jews in the diaspora. We're based in New York, not based in Israel. We do have contributors who live in Israel, but we're based in New York. We're not an Israeli-based company.